There are creatures everywhere in the universe. These aren't the helpful kind, though. The only reason for their existence is to make people late. The most common and effective way they do this is making the stoplights red when you are in a rush and need to get somewhere as soon as possible. They feed off of our lateness and sadness. It wasn't always like this, though. A long, long time ago, there weren't many of these evil creatures at all. They were outnumbered almost 100 to 1 by the good creatures which lived to serve us humans and help us stay on schedule. With constant good and help, there is always a jealous counterpart. In secret, the creatures of lateness were reproducing so they could one day become the dominant species. Soon, they eventually were. They outnumbered the good by 25 to 1, and their numbers never stopped growing. This was until one day there was a fight between a few creatures from each species. These fights became more frequent and led to the great war of their civilization. This war did not only affect the creatures, it began to affect life on Earth. People were on time one second, late the next, and early in the end due to the inconsistency of the creatures' presence in our world. This went on for months as the war raged on in their world. Creatures were dying and others were born in their place. This war continued on until months after the beginning, and it finally reached a both sides recognized the stalemate, so instead of wiping out both races entirely, they came to an agreement. Each species would have half of the world every day to manipulate their lives and lateness or earliness to their whim. That may seem unfair to the people who are stuck to being late, but they alternate. Everybody needs to be late sometimes, and for the most part, there is valid reasoning behind why the creatures made them late, and there's also valid reasons why the people were on time. They still don't live in perfect harmony, but they aren't constantly killing each other, and the other doesn't grossly outweigh the other. It may seem like there are more terrible lateness creatures, but the treaty of the species has been mostly followed. People just don't appreciate their on-time stature and constant green lights, but when they are in a rush, it always seems like they have red lights.